Court calls the case of the people versus Timothy Haslam.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Mr. Haslam. Mr. Haslam, please state your name for the record.
Timothy Haslam.
Your Honor, Mr. Haslam is obviously in Macomb County. I have been trying to meet with him. They use an online system that is just not functioning correctly with my computer. I've had IT working on it. So I haven't met with Mr. Haslam. I know this is a time-served recommendation. However, there is a discussion about HIDA. And I would like
in this case.
Right.
Oh.
And I would like to explain that to him. He is being held in Macomb County on I think a $50,000 bond. An exam is scheduled for, I want to say June 6th, but I'm not sure if that's correct, in the next couple of weeks. So I asked for an adjournment of the sentencing. I apologize to Mr. Haslam. I'm working on trying to get out there, or I might have to go there, but their online system is giving me some issues.
All right. Mr. Haslam?
Yes.
You've got another case here. Another misdemeanor complaint that alleges that on or about November 25th, 2024, location in Pittsfield Township on Carpenter Road, that you did operate a motor vehicle while your license was suspended, denied, and or revoked. Do you understand the nature of that charge, sir?
Yes.
Okay. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a $500 fine plus court cost, 93 days in jail, $500 fine plus court cost. You understand that, sir?
Yes.
All right. First question I have for you is, do you wish to be represented by an attorney?
Yes.
This is a public defender case.
Do
Do you need the case number on that?
No, that's okay.
All right.
We'd waive formal reading and stand mute to the charges.
All right. Defendant having waived formal reading, standing mute, court will enter a not guilty plea in this matter. Tracy.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will set his bond at a 1,010% bond, so he gets credit. That was his warrant amount. Now, what's my next sentencing day?
May 28th at 12 p.m.
Do you think, Ms. Perry, you'll get whatever needs to be solved by May 28th?
I think so. If I can't get the online system, I think I can request an in-person and go out to Macomb.
All right. And I don't want to bring him back twice on this pre-trial, so let's do this. I'll set your pre-trial, Mr. Haslam, on the one that I just arraigned you on, that case. I'll set that for a pre-trial. Well, problem's going to be I won't have Siller here on the 28th.
It's a trial docket in the morning, but yeah.
The sentencing would be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Give me my next. Let's do it this way, because this other one is, give me my next pre-trial date, and I'll just set the sentencing at a special time.
Okay, so pre-trial would be June 4th.
All right. I'll set the pre-trial in your other matter for June 4th, 2025 at 9. Okay. And then I'll set your sentencing on this case also for that June 4th, 2025 at 9. That'd be a special time for a sentencing, but that way you don't have to come back twice. All right. All right. Thank you. Court does call the case of the people versus Jenny Liu.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Ms. Liu. Ms. Liu, please state your name for the record.
Oh, she's unmuted, I think now.
Jenny Lou.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, today's date and time set for sentencing. We have reviewed the pre-sentence report and don't have any material changes, additions, or deletions. We do ask that you adopt probation's recommendation. Ms. Liu has been incarcerated at the Huron Valley Prison for many years now. So I think a credit for time served sentence is appropriate.
All right. Ms. Lou, anything you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
No, sir.
All right. On the count one assault and battery, $125 statutory fees, 93 days in jail, credit 93 served. On count two, the assault and battery, $50 statutory fees, 93 days in jail, credit 93 served. All right. Thank you, Ms. Lou. Good luck to you.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
Court calls case People versus Logan Cyrus.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Mr. Cyrus. Mr. Cyrus, please state your name for the record.
Logan Cyrus.
Your Honor, we have reviewed the pre-sentence report and don't have any changes. We also reviewed the recommendation and asked that this court adopt it. He did do the maximum time on this charge.
All right, and he's still in.
He is, when I asked if he knew when he was going to be released, he doesn't know at this point.
Okay,
So I don't know when he's going to be able to pay the restitution.
got it. Sir, anything you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sentence of the court, $125 statutory fees, $540.14 restitution to Meyer payable through the court. That will be due 90 days after his release. I'll order 93 days of jail, credit 93 served. Thank you.
Thanks.
Court calls case People versus Elijah Kyler.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Elijah Kyler, who appears via Zoom. Sir, can you please state your name for the court?
Elijah Kyler.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are here for an amended sentencing. We have had the opportunity to review the PSIR. Of course, still no corrections to that. As to the amended recommendation for the restitution, we would ask the court to adopt it. My client does understand that. And we are asking if the court would make that amount of restitution payable 6 months after his release. His max out date is September of this year.
Got it. Okay, sir, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sentence of the court, $125 statutory fees, $300 restitution to Ann Arbor Police Department payable through the court. That will be due 90 days after release. And I'll order 180 days in jail, credit 180 days served. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Take care,
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Kyler.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Kyler.
I think.
Court does call the case, People versus Yolanda Woods. That's all my in custody.
Yes.
Hello.
Her attorney, Mr. Davis, is also.
All right.
Yes, good. Good morning, Your Honor. Bruce Davis, P 76203, appearing with Yolanda Woods, who's present via Zoom.
So Woods, could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, Yolanda Woods.
All right. Go ahead. This date and time set for sentencing, counsel.
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I had a chance to review the pre-sentence report. No corrections, deletions, or additions. And the recommendation is in line with what the prosecutor and I discussed. I think the deferral program is good for her. She doesn't have any prior criminal history, no thefts or anything like that. She's 54. She's working. She's working for Eastern Michigan in a clerical position. We asked the court to adopt the recommendation as is.
Ma'am, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No.
All right. Sentence of the court, place you on 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $480 fines and cost, $125 probation oversight fees. When can you get that paid, ma'am?
I can pay half today and half on the 13th of next month.
Okay, so $300 today.
Yes,
All right. And then the balance, you said you could pay it by the 13th, so I'll make it the balance by June 16th,
okay, thank you.
2025. There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal drug. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a theft class. You're to do that within the next 60 days. You're to complete 25 hours of community service as directed by probation. No going to any Walmart store in the state of Michigan. I will set a review hearing September 10th, 2025 at 9 a.m. I'll order 90 days in jail that is suspended. All right.
Okay, thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Calls case, People versus Jonathan Weber.
Morning, Judge John Shea appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Weber for sentencing.
Go ahead.
Judge, Mr. Weber's before you on his first offense. He's 63 years old. The BAC was not low, but not hugely high either. It was 0.156. It was a very minor accident. And by that, I mean, it was a very slow speed rear end. And it's a matter of him being drunk and not adequately giving himself enough room to stop at a red light. Very little damage, both cars drivable, that kind of thing. He was completely honest with the police. When they asked him if he had been drinking, he said yes. When they asked how much, he told them. When they said when, he told them. So there was no screwing around. He's been responsible since this case. He's sober. He's enrolled in an IOP, complete it next week. He's had negative tests through community corrections. He's had negative tests in the IOP program itself. They ETG him every week. He's prepared to pay his fines and costs today. He's reported this to the bar. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do. And he looks great and he feels great. So in a sense, I'll let him tell you this himself, but in a sense, this has been unfortunate that it happens in this way, but he's happy to be sober. I'd ask the court follow the recommendation. I think it's fair.
Mr. Weber, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
Yes, Your Honor. I am very sorry that this happened. It has been something I've been very careful about in the past, and I blew it. The only positive thing is being in the IOP, those people are really good, and I don't think I'm ever going to drink again. I think 40 years of drinking is enough, and I have every intention of never drinking again. And thank you for your patience.
Sometimes it's all I have, right? All right. All right. And Mr. Weber, as I indicated, I do know of you, and sometimes bad things happen sometimes for a good reason, right?
That's exactly what I said to my sister.
Pardon?
Right after the accident, after I spent the night in jail, I called my sister. I said, I was in an accident last night. It might be the best thing that ever happened.
Okay. And the other thing I was going to point out is that also being aware of you, there's a lot of good things that you've done throughout your life and career. And certainly this, I think the important thing to note is that doesn't erase any of that, right?
Thank you.
All right. The court does acknowledge that this is not a serious misdemeanor as defined by statute. However, it does believe that there are reasonable grounds to depart from the presumption of a non-probationary sentence. Specifically, the alcohol assessment, screening and assessment identifies the benefit of an IOP program as well as random testing. Therefore, I will follow probation's recommendation of a probationary sentence with the stated rehabilitative goals to promote change, prevent recidivism, and to monitor compliance of recommended treatment. It's therefore the sentence of the court that I would place you on 12 months probationary term. You're to pay $855 fines and court costs, $100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $360 probation oversight fees. That is going to be paid today. Is that correct? All right. There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete your IOP treatment program at U of M with status reports to probation. You're to attend one AA meeting per week with monthly verification to probation. You're to provide proof of the victim's impact panel attendance to probation. I'll continue the sober link for an additional 30 days in lieu of 4 days in jail. I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit 1, the balance is suspended.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Court does call the case of the people versus Sequandala Middleton. I messed that up again.
Covered on behalf of Miss Middleton. Good morning, Judge. Miss Middleton, please state your name.
Sequandala Middleton.
I always want to put another, I want to break the syllables apart in a different way. I apologize again, ma'am. All right, go ahead, counsel.
So thank you, Judge. So we are here for sentencing. We have reviewed the report. I've spoke about it with Miss Middleton. We have no additions, corrections, deletions, no changes to be made to it. I just would add, so when Miss Middleton was speaking to Agent Pilara, the number she got for fines and costs was $848. The report says 1010. She can make that happen, but we are asking for a little relief. She is paying off fines and costs in other cases in other courts. She is ready to put this behind her. She can make a $300 payment tomorrow, and after that asks for a $50 payment plan. Other than that, Judge, I've got nothing to add. You know, Miss Middleton is ready to set this behind her and move forward with her life. She's taken quite a few steps in the last few months to turn around her past. Nothing further.
Ms. Middleton, anything you want to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No.
All right, you said you could make the $300 payment. Said tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, but you can make it by Friday for certain, okay.
Yes.
And then you want to. Okay. On the count 6, larceny less than 200, $455 fines and costs, $700 restitution to Meyer payable through the court. You're to pay $300 of that by May 16, 2025, then $50 per month thereafter until that's paid in full. I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit for 10 days served. The balance is suspended. On the count 7, larceny 200 to 1,000. $555 fines and costs, 365 days in jail, credit 10, balance is suspended. That $50 or those fines and costs will be paid with the $50 per month payment. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Court does call the case, people versus Jordan Hartmeyer.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Hartmeyer. Senator, I have not had contact with Mr. Hartmeyer. I did attempt to make contact with him. I don't see him in the courtroom. I'm not sure if he's present on Zoom. I don't have an explanation for his failure to appear. I would request an adjournment of the sentencing hearing.
Okay, I'm Teresa Clare on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Hartmeyer, this is his second sentencing hearing. He's failed to complete his pre-sentence interview appointment with the probation department. This is now the second time. Given that he's not compliant with that and also not present, probation is asking for a bench.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond will be set in the amount of $25,000. I'll give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately. Court calls case, people versus Nakoa Nelson.
Good afternoon, or good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson, please state your name for the record.
Nakoa Nelson.
And I did speak with Mr. Nelson regarding his missed court date and his missed PSI appointment. He is willing and able to complete everything he needs to do before his next sentencing date. I do ask that you adopt probation's recommendation. He is, as the court knows this, but just as a reminder, he just did get out of inpatient at Bear River, did transitional housing, and now is working with an organization up north in Gaylord to, he's living in his own place, and is sober, so he's doing really well. We just need to, get him to complete his PSI, which I think, I did send him some reminders, so I think that will help. But again, we're just asking that the court adopt the recommendation.
And Teresa Clare on behalf of probation, Your Honor, it was brought to my attention yesterday that Mr. Nelson also has 2 pending felony cases that came through. I'm not sure if the court has those.
I don't have those with me now.
Let me see if where they are. So
He's got 2.
they indicated two new felony cases. They were just entered.
They were just entered.
Yeah.
He's not been arraigned on those, or?
I do have case numbers if you want those. I'm not sure if the court wants to address those.
Well, why don't? Well, the problem is, well, it's not really a problem for me, but what will happen is Mr. Nelson will have to come back to get arraigned and then have to come for what kind of cases are they?
I don't know, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
I was just advised of them, Your Honor. One is a larceny in a building. Other is an uttering and publishing counterfeit bills or notes.
Okay. I don't have those in front of me right now, so, and they just got entered. So,
Well, I can reach out to the magistrate's office and see if maybe we can, since he is in Gaylord, see
Yeah.
if they can do a quote unquote walk-in Zoom arraignment
Got
and
and then get them set and then
Yeah.
comes back for me. Okay, all right, real good. All right. So what I will do in these cases, Mr. Nelson, is I'm going to re-refer you to probation for a pre-sentence investigation and report on both cases. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you have the $75 re-referral fee, or where are you with?
Yeah, I don't have it at this time, right this moment, but I am working, so it shouldn't be anything to pay that.
Okay.
Coming up soon.
So what I'm gonna do is, you need to pay the re-referral fee. I'll make that due and payable. I'll give you a couple weeks to get that in, okay? So,
Okay.
just pay it by May 30th. We'll do it that way. Pay it before the end of the month.
All right.
And then I'll set a PSI appointment. Is that gonna be, that obviously be a Zoom?
Yes, Your Honor, I will conduct that, via Zoom or telephone with.
Okay. I'll set it for May 15th, 2025 at 1 PM, so tomorrow. I'll adjourn your sentencing to May 28th, 2025 at 12 PM. That's on both cases. There's only one re-referral fee. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Court calls case People versus Kevin. Is it Stichler?
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Stichler, who appears via Zoom. Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
Is Kevin Stichler.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today is the day and time set for sentencing. We have had the opportunity to review the PSIR as well as the recommendation. As to report, we have no material changes or corrections, and we would be respectfully requesting that the court adopt probation's recommendation.
All right. Sir, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No, I appreciate getting this taken care of. I'm cleaning up my damage that I did, and I'm just respectful to the court and appreciative of everything that has been done. Thank you, Natalie, too.
All right. Sentence of the court, $480 fines and costs. When can you get that paid, sir?
Your Honor, I'm I just got my license back and I'm pursuing a better job. Right, I had come out of rehab and have been working at the House of Meats. They just haven't been giving me enough hours. So if I could get a payment plan, started with you guys, I owe Lenaway for the
Hey,
same.
how much, what type of payment plan do you need?
If I can do $25 to $50, somewhere in that range a month.
What day do you want to make it payable? I'll do it for you.
I can start this week.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll just indicate $50 per month on starting on the May 16th. Well, I'll make it May 19th.
I appreciate that.
All right, and then 90 days in jail that is suspended. All right, thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
I
Honor.
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Court
You
calls
can have-
case, People versus Juwan Wilson.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Wilson. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Juwan Wilson.
Your Honor, we did review the pre-sentence report. We don't have any material changes, additions, or deletions. We did also review the recommendation. We believe that it to be fair, and we ask that you adopt it.
Sir, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
Oh, sir.
Sentence of the court, 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $480 fines and costs, $120 probation oversight fees. When can you get that paid, sir?
I say before the 4 months is up.
Pardon?
Before the 4 months is up.
Okay, but how are you gonna pay it?
Do you have like an amount monthly you think you can pay?
Yeah, $50 a month. I could pay 100 today.
Okay, that's a good start. 100 today. And then how much are you gonna pay each month? You're gonna have to actually get it done in 3 months if we're gonna do the 4 month.
Yeah, before the 4 months. I'm not sure how much that is.
I can't do the math off the top of my head, but it's
He'll have 500 due
after the 100.
after the 100.
250 on.
That's something you can do?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, then $250 per month until that's paid. There should be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You're to complete a theft class. You're to do that within the next 60 days. You're to complete 25 hours of community service as directed by probation. You're not to go to any Walmart store in the state of Michigan. I'll set a review hearing that's to be held on September 10th, 2025 at 9 a.m. I'll order 90 days in jail. Credit 3, balance is suspended. Thank you. Court does call the case, People versus Frederick Warden.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perny on behalf of Mr. Warden. Warden, please unmute and state your name for the record.
Frederick James Worden, II.
Your Honor, today's date time set for sentencing, Mr. Warden still needs to complete his Von Schwartz assessment. I do ask that you adopt probation's recommendation. He does have.
Why didn't he do it?
I would defer to Mr. Warden. He did tell me this morning that he has the packet that he needs to fill out prior to doing the assessment. When do you think you're gonna have that finished, Mr. Warden?
I didn't know how to I don't have a good excuse. I didn't know how to do the money order thing that I'm supposed to send with it, but I have my daughter helping me with it and I can have it done by today. I do have it, know how long it takes to ship it through the mail, all that stuff, but I do have it completed and I just have to send it in the money order. So I mean,
I'll re-refer to defendant to Von Schwartz for an alcohol screening and assessment. He's to pay a $75 re-referral fee. He's to pay that today. to the court. I'll adjourn his sentencing to June 11, 2025, 9 a.m. That sentencing will be in person. All right. Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Court calls the case, People versus Jessica Duff.
Or Your Honor, Dan Garrett on behalf of Jessica Duff stepping forward.
Jessica Duff.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Your Honor, we've reviewed the pre-sentence report. It is accurate. I'm asking Your Honor to follow the recommendation. Of note, financially, my client paid the restitution entirely today, has brought cash to make sure the victim's made whole on that, as well as her fines and costs. I want to point out how proud I am. Ms. Duff has proactively completed her Dawn Farm program, and she's been on the scram now, I think, almost 6 months without one violation. Tribute to her sobriety and her commitment to doing what the court asked her to do.
Yeah, Teresa Claire on behalf of probation. Your Honor, the victim, Amy Hudson, is present and she would like to make a statement.
All right. Go ahead and just have it.
Good morning.
State your name, please.
My name is Amy Hudson, AMEE, last name's Hudson, HUDSON.
All right, go ahead.
So on August 31st, you changed my life forever. You made the decision to get behind the wheel of a car drunk. You drove into the back of my car. I was sitting at a stoplight. Not only did you drive drunk, but you were speeding. I will never forget the sound that haunts me to this day. By throwing me around in the car like I weighed nothing after the pressure of your vehicle blew out the back tire sitting in the driver's seat, which broke, by the way, along with the seatbelt. The airbags burning into me and the pain. I honestly don't remember much about getting out of the car, except for the look on the passerby face. The driver's door was broken. It took both of us to get me out. He stood there with tears running down his face, telling me not to swallow due to the blood pouring from my mouth and face. From my nose and mouth, excuse me. The pain from my left side and hip was worse than pain I'd ever described, that I could not even realize I was bleeding, burned on my elbow. My left hand was completely damaged. I ended up going to the same hospital, to the same ER as you. You did not know it, but I was in line in front of you. As I cried in pain, I listened to you laughing and joking with the officers. Not once did you ask about the other driver or what you did or what was going on. There was no remorse. For nearly 7 weeks, I was on crutches. This did not include the 7 days beforehand that I was completely bedridden. I cannot drive past that street without shaking. If someone comes up behind me too fast at a stoplight, it's hard for me to even breathe at times. You did this to me. You made the choice to drive drunk. The permanent effects from this vehicle accident that I have to live with the rest of my life, just to state a few. I have permanent scars from the burns from the airbags. I will never get to feel what it feels like to put a ring on my wedding finger again. It is damaged to be unfixed. I walk with a limp. I have permanent damage done to the side of my face, to the right side of my face. I have permanent damage done to the left side of my whole body that will never be able to be repaired. After grueling months of physical therapy, which I'm still going through, multiple surgeries, I will never get any of that time back. The only income that came out of this was that I learned one thing about the justice system, and that is that they're not always your friend. The victims are the ones that pay, and the criminals are the ones that are made to look like the heroes. I have fought every single day for my voice to be heard. I have fought every day for the insurance companies, for justice to be served as today, and for you to be sentenced for this. I am asking for the court to give you the highest recommendation can be, including having it be to where anytime you get into a vehicle, you have to blow. I'm also asking for the restitution, which does not even cover half of what I've lost or what I've had to pay for. It's only for what I could find the receipts for of the rental vehicles and for the towing, which is $2,700, I believe $40.21. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I have $2,720.80.
I did not have the amount in front of me.
Oh,
Is the reason why I was saying that. I did not have that. And that does not include, that's only the receipts I could find of the rental. It was I had a loaner vehicle. So that's what I was driving. So while the insurance companies were fighting, I had to rent a vehicle until he could get his money back. And then he proceeded to work on my vehicle. So but that was.
Are you telling me that there's additional restitution?
Yes, there is, but I'm not charging for that because I could not provide the receipts. I only had until May 7th. And unfortunately, one of the places that I rented the vehicles from closed their doors at the end of last year. So I was not able to get the original, the receipts for that one.
All right.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to make a direct apology to Ms. Hudson.
May
May I turn and face her?
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I take full responsibility. And I'm so sorry for the damage that I caused to you and to the hurt that I caused to you. If I could take it back, if I could undo it, I would. I would completely undo it. I will never do anything like this again. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And is there anything you want to tell the court before I impose?
Same, Your Honor. Sorry, and I'm deeply regretful. I've learned from this. I think about this every single day. I do have complete remorse. I do have complete regret. And I intend to never repeat anything like this experience again.
This is not a serious misdemeanor as defined by statute, however, believes there are reasonable grounds to depart from the presumption of a non-probationary sentence. The alcohol screening and assessment identifies the benefit of outpatient treatment, AA meeting attendance, and monitored abstinence from all intoxicants. Therefore, the court will follow the recommendation of probation for a probationary sentence with the stated rehabilitative goals to promote change, prevent recidivism, and to monitor compliance of recommended treatment. Therefore, the sentence of the court, I will place you on 18 months probation. You're to pay $855 fines and court costs, $100 prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $540 probation oversight fees, $2,720.82 restitution that is payable to Amy Hudson, but that is payable through the court. What can you pay today?
We're prepared to pay that in full today.
Pardon?
We are prepared to pay in full today, Your Honor.
Everything today?
Yes.
All right. And you do have then the restitution in cash, correct?
Yes, sir. We
Okay, very good. All right, all of that is payable today. There is to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete the Dawn Farm outpatient program, including all aftercare recommendations with status reports to probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are to attend one AA meeting per week with monthly verification to probation. You're to provide proof of the victim's impact panel attendance to probation that has, to my understanding, been completed.
Your Honor.
I will continue to scram tether for an additional 30 days in lieu of 4 days in jail. All order 93 days in jail. Credit 1. The balance is suspended.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just outside.
Court does call the case, People versus Naji Kahala.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dan Guerin on behalf of Naji Kahala.
Good morning, Your Honor. Najee Kala.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Kahala and I have reviewed the pre-sentence report. It is accurate. We are asking Your Honor to follow the recommendation. Grateful to see it was recommended for the deferred sentence. He can pay all of his fines and costs today as well.
Sir, anything you want to tell the court before I impose that?
No, Your Honor, I'm happy and glad that we're able to take care of this.
Sentence of the court, you are placed on 12 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $555 fines and court costs, $360 probation oversight fees that will be paid today.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as directed by probation. You're to complete an anger management program as directed by probation. There's to be no contact with Nassim Kasham or Caleb Kasham, directly or indirectly. There's to be no assaultive, threatening, or intimidating behavior on your part. You are not to possess any weapons, firearms, ammunition, or anything fashioned to be a weapon. I'll set a review hearing that's to be held May 13, 2026 at 9 a.m. I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit to the balance is suspended. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No. Hold on. Court calls the case of the people versus Ahmed Kahala.
Morning, Your Honor. Dan Guerin on behalf of Ahmed Kamal. Can you state your name?
Ahmed Kahla. Good morning, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm going to fill in for your attorney of record, Joe Simon. That's with your
Yes, sir.
consent. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, you have no objection to that?
No.
All right, very good.
I'll keep it brief, Your Honor. I'm asking Your Honor to follow the recommendation that looks to mimic his brother and co-defendants.
Sir, anything you want to say to the court before I impose that?
No, I just want to say I'm very grateful for the deferred sentence and thank you guys so much.
Sentence of the court, 12 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $555 fines and costs, $360 probation oversight fees. When can you pay that?
Today.
Thank you. Pay that today out at the counter.
Sir.
There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as directed by probation. You are to complete an anger management program as directed by probation. There's to be no contact with Nassim Kasham or Caleb Kasham, directly or indirectly. No assaultive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You're not to possess any weapons, firearms, ammunition, or anything fashioned to be a weapon. I'll set a review hearing that will be held on May 13, 2026, 9 a.m. I'll order 93 days in jail. That is suspended.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. They did not. Court does call the case people versus Derek Hall. Go ahead, Count.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate for Mr. Hall, who, Your Honor, I believe still is in Macomb County Jail. They were logged on this morning with another client. And I met with him.
They did not confirm the
Mr.
writ
Hall?
for this case.
Oh, okay. I would respectfully request an adjournment. We would be prepared to proceed at sentencing at an adjourned date. I did get to meet with him online, so at least that's square.
Then what I will do is. Who was the other? That was Mr.
That was Mr. Haslett.
We did.
And I did speak to the officers there. They don't have any information on the writ and they didn't physically have it.
Adjourn this to the 28th. Is that my understanding?
Yes, it is.
May 28th, 2025 at 12 noon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's it for that block. All right. Very good. Court's going to stand in recess. All right.
All rise. Court to County District Court of County Washtenaw, State of Michigan is now back in session. The Honorable Judge J. Cedric.
You may be seated. Court does call the case People versus Amy Avey.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Laura, on behalf of Miss Evie. Say your name, correct, please.
Amy Marie Avey.
Miss Avie and I did not have a chance to speak prior to today. She's here for a show cause. I'd ask if you could provide to the court if and when you can pay some money on these cases.
I am on a fixed income. I get disability, $967 a month,
How much?
$967 a month. I've been put on disability for my breathing. I mean, I can do 50 a month, maybe, that's all I have. That would be this, I don't, honestly, I forgot all about these charges because I did the jail time. So I didn't think,
Maybe adjourn this out, let you fill out the ability to pay. Why don't we do that and let's see what we can do about this.
Sure.
So I'll adjourn this to June 11th, 2025, 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never fill out the paperwork and we'll take a look.
Give her your phone number. So we have it. And I'll get it.
Court does call the case of People versus Donald Foreman. Extend.
Yes.
Your name, sir?
Donald Foreman.
All right. You're here on a show cause for fines and costs. $610. You're obviously in custody right now. Do you have an out date at this point, or what are you in for?
DV.
DV. Who's it before, do you know?
Conky.
Okay, so you're, okay. So when are you next scheduled to go to court?
It's supposed to be Friday.
Pardon?
It's supposed to be Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of questions, but is that for a trial or a pre-trial or
Trial.
for a trial?
Bench trial.
I'm sorry?
Bench trial.
Bench trial on this Friday? All right. And that's the only thing that you have pending right now that's holding you? Let's do this then. I'm going to adjourn this matter to June 11th, 2025, 9 a.m. Let's figure out what happens with that, because right now you can't pay anything.
No.
Okay, all right, we'll do it that way. Thank you, sir. Are you represented on that other matter, sir? Are you represented by the public defender?
Yeah.
Okay,
Time served.
pardon?
Time served.
Time served on this matter? You mean? Well, you've got fines and costs. You've already been sentenced on it, but this is for the fines and costs. So maybe what I'm gonna do is, Ms. Perroni, I'm gonna have the PD represent him on this case so that you can, because what he has up there is gonna flip into that anyway.
Yeah, we'll track whatever happens there, and depending on how things proceed, get in touch with the court.
All right, real good. All right, thank you.
Remind me of the next date, I'm sorry.
June 11th.
Okay, thank you.
Take it, grab it. Court does call the case People versus James. Is it Breidenthal?
Public Defender Natalie Page versus Breidenthal, who may be trying to be in Zoom.
Breidenthal?
So you're today's the day and time for a show cause. My office made contact with him and was able to leave voicemail to a number we had for him to get further explanation for his failures. I would request an adjournment of the show cause. record.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond is set in the amount of $25,000. I'll give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately. Court calls the case People versus Brian Gerard. 4 cases.
Morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Mr. Gerard. Mr. Gerard, please state the record.
Brian Gerard.
We're here for a show cause, I think total, Mr. Gerard. So these cases are just about the money, Mr. Gerard. I think he owes about $3,000. Do you know if and when they're going to be released from custody?
Not yet.
He
So,
doesn't know when he's going to be released.
so I'd ask for an adjournment of the show cause hearing.
What does he have pending? At this
Possession.
I believe I believe they're still at the PCC stage, right? They're still
No,
before your honor. His honor.
They're bound over
Oh, okay.
When's your next date
the 12th
of
June.
June? Okay, give me a July date.
July.
All right. What I'll do is I'll adjourn these to July 9th. See where these are at, 2025, 9 AM.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Court does call the case People versus Cedric Edwards.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Taylor on behalf of Mr. Edwards, who should be present via Zoom.
Cedric Edwards?
Yes.
Okay, I need a camera.
All right. Trying to get it. Oh, right.
You got it. Okay. He goes what, 975?
I was able to discuss this with Mr. Edwards. He states to me that he can begin making $25 payments in 2 weeks. He recently started receiving unemployment benefits. He had gone through a long road with a lot of health issues. He now has these unemployment benefits and can start making $25 monthly payments. He's asking if the court would allow him to start those in 2 weeks.
Okay, defendant to pay $25 per month. That will begin on, why don't we just make it May 30th? All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
make sure to make those payments.
All right.
Thank you. Court does call the case of the People versus Jonathan Gibson.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Mr. Gibson, who I believe is on Zoom, Your Honor.
Don't have to check.
Gibson?
Your Honor, I did speak to him. I'm not sure why he's not here. He was actually here in court yesterday.
Yes, he was.
For another case. He did pay a make a $10 payment. I believe the end of April. He did say he was planning on making another $10.20 payment this week. He recently got back to work in his training to be a manager at Papa John's. So he thinks he's gonna have some more income coming in.
How much does he owe? You don't know why he's not here.
No, I did speak to him and provided him with the Zoom information. He's usually pretty attentive. Your Honor, for the record, I'd ask for an adjournment.
Gibson? No response, bench warrant, 15,000. Give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately. Court does call the case People versus Stephen Bernal.
Good morning, Your Honor. Edward Drukas on behalf of Stephen Bernal, who should be on Zoom. Mr. Bernal, could you unmute and state your name?
Stephen Bernal. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have reviewed the recommendation and the pre-sentence report. No additions or corrections to the actual report. We're asking that the court file the recommendation.
Mr. Bernal, anything you want to say before the court imposes sentence?
No, sir.
$125 statutory fee, 93 days in jail, credit 93 served. You're all set.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Court calls case People versus Willie Henley.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Mr. Henley. Your Honor, I'm not.
Hello, what's your name?
Willie Henley.
Okay, there he is.
Oh, great. Your Honor, we were not able to speak prior to today's hearing. We did provide him the information. I'd ask that he provide the court with some information on his financial situation. I believe he owes $600.
I have $600 owed. How are you gonna get that paid, sir?
I've been trying to make payments, but the court over the phone don't allow me to make payment. It want the whole thing at once. I'm a DoorDasher and I DoorDash on the bike, so it's hard for me to come up with exactly 600 at one time. So I've been trying to make payments, but over the phone. I don't live down Ypsilanti
I don't
anymore.
think you can make a payment over, you may not be able to make a payment over the phone.
I mean, yeah, I've been trying to do it over online on the thing, but they wanted the whole thing at once. On Doc. I've been doing it on
Mr.
Doc.
Henley, how about this? Call the public defender's office, update your contact information, and I'll get with you and see if I can assist you on making the payments.
Okay, what's the number to the public defender?
222 69.
You can you can Google it.
Google it. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I can Google
You got a
it.
pen?
No, I don't have a pen. I'm outside, so I have to run to a building and try to find a pen.
You got somebody that can write this down?
No, I'm outside. I'm outside dancing. So I don't. I'm running over to a restaurant right now, to the nearest one. Grab me a pen. Sorry about that, Judge.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
222
222
6970.
6970.
Yes, sir.
We want that's 616-734.
734.
Okay.
All right, 734-222-6970. Call them, make sure they have a good phone number for you and an email address if you have one, okay?
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, I'm gonna adjourn your matter to June 11, 2025, 9 a.m. Take care,
All right.
sir.
Thank you.
Court calls case, People versus Carlos Hicks.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate for Mr. Hicks, who may be present in Zoom. Sir, you're there. Can you please let me state your name for the board?
Carlos Hicks. Good, two cases or just one?
So one's a new felony.
It's a new felony. Yeah, I got it.
So Your Honor, I do not have an explanation for his failure to appear. I will say our office did leave a voicemail this last known number. I will ask for the adjournment for the record, and I did handle Mr. Hicks' case prior. He always has been very communicative, always would show up to court. I would ask for the record. I was not aware of the but new felony case.
Bench court will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond will be set in the amount of $7,500. give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately.
Thank you.
Case people versus Ibrahim. Is on, he's got a new felony or a new case anyway. That's already in warrant status. He's not here. How much do you have? Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond will be set in the amount of $3,500. Give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue. Court calls case people versus Paula Johnson.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Perry on behalf of Ms. Johnson. Your Honor, do you mind if Ms. Johnson sits while we
Not a problem.
call her hearing?
How are you today, Your Honor?
I'm doing okay, Ms. Johnson. How are you?
I'm here. Thank God for that.
Oh, can you state your name, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, Paula Johnson.
Your Honor, we are here for a show cause. I think Ms. Johnson owes about $218. She did,
Just didn't pay so she can come back and see me.
That's
I know why she didn't do it.
See, he knows.
I know.
Cause he just don't ask me. He try to get all the way.
What?
That's it.
You said what?
Nothing.
No.
No, I said, cause he's so handsome, he think all the women be trying to get him to see him. That's what I said.
I did not say all.
No, I said that.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
You
I-
said,
I
I
did not
said
say
those
that.
words.
Yeah, they come here to see Alan. They don't come here to see me. I'm just.
I don't get you in trouble. You know your wife can hit you.
What?
You know, I know your wife will hit you, so you better, yeah.
Okay, Ms. Johnson.
Look, see, that's how you know I'm telling the truth. Look at you. You just smiled knowingly.
Nothing else.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave that.
Right. There you go.
All right. So
I didn't know I still owed you money though, first of all.
you didn't know?
Honest to God, I didn't. I would.
I was shocked there was only one case left.
Now you know that was so, how do you do?
I
Okay.
just said it. I just said
Okay,
it. I was just surprised only
touche.
one case came in.
Touche. Okay. We do go way back, don't we?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a blessing, right? I'm in school, doing really good. Yeah, I am.
You're in school?
Yes.
What are you doing this time?
Criminal justice, he say this
Oh,
time.
man.
Yeah, I know. I knew it. I knew it.
You're in the criminal justice?
Yes, sir, I am. Doing quite well, by the way.
What?
I said, I'm doing quite well, by the way.
Yeah. Given how you operated, you're probably an expert.
Little bit. On certain levels. You're right.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I know.
All right. So how are you gonna get this paid?
I don't know. I was hoping you was just gonna let me not have to pay it because since I'm in such a dire strait right now. I mean, I've paid the majority of it. I thought maybe you could say, well, she did so well.
Could I speak for my mother?
There go my page.
I just have a few.
You wanna talk, this is your mother?
That's my baby, yes, sir.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm kidding. Come on.
By the way.
Daughters myself and my mom, we are all obsessed with her. Just recently.
What's your name, first of all?
My name is Jolita Addison.
Okay.
So just recently, my mother has had a lot going on. She had a bout of double pneumonia. And she spent about 4 days in the hospital for that. She got out and was out for about 3 days. Whereas they had a car accident, her and my dad. They had a very bad car accident, which totaled their car. She had bruised her kidneys and was in the hospital for another 4 days at that point. Then at that point,
Let him know,
she got
no
out.
fault of mine. Hold on.
It was no fault of her own. Yeah, someone lost control of their vehicle on the highway.
And, yeah, and ran into.
and she got hit twice.
Yeah.
So she had spent about 4 days in the hospital. Then upon getting out from that, she was still very sick. And we had to take her back to the hospital for another 4 days because she just wasn't doing very good with the pneumonia. She was still struggling with that. She's still having to recover from that car accident. She's got to now try to figure out how to get another vehicle. I just asked that, kind of similar to what she's asking. She just doesn't really have the funds at the moment to try to come up with that. Even trying to do a payment would be a lot for her. She is in school, like she stated. She's doing her absolute best. She's been pulling in almost all A's and B's, and I'm so proud of her. She's been doing really good. As you see, like you said, this the only case. She's been doing really good, and I'm very proud of her. That's all I have to say.
That's all?
That's all.
Okay, no, yeah, I was gonna let you keep going.
She believe I bet.
Well, no, because you know that there were not a lot of people coming up speaking good things about you before.
Well,
So
that's-
you must have changed something.
Well, yeah. Yes,
They
I
have
did.
180, so she's doing really, really well.
What you talking about that? Really?
So there.
Really? So there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. You bring out the worst in me. What do you?
What? Whoa! 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 What?
I don't know. Miss Teresa, what is going on here? What?
How did I bring out the worst in
I'm
you?
just kidding. Just listen. Okay, what are we gonna do here?
I bring out the worst in you.
No, we don't.
I think they're doing a great job, honestly. I don't even need to be here.
You don't- Yeah.
I will add though, Ms. Johnson is on a fixed income. She gets a social security disability, is that right?
Yes, it is.
And she did do 92 days on this case.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
And it was not because I wanted to get, she just,
I kept on till I just had to do it, huh?
huh?
I just had to be here with you, huh?
You just would not do anything I asked you to do.
That's true.
You decided, I'd say do something this way. You decided you were gonna do something the other.
You said right. You
And
I
then
know.
finally it just came down and like,
And I had no qualms with that, and you know it.
well, at the time you did.
Well, no, I didn't actually. I did what I needed to do and came on up out of there. It wasn't your fault, so I.
Oh,
kinda
I
like-
know it wasn't my
I
fault.
know, so why should I have any animosity or ill feelings against you? You just doing your job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was very nice of her to say. She was not like
As
this
if you could do
before.
any-
I don't know what's happened.
What
This
is
is
wrong
not-
with you? What do you
This is
mean?
not the person I remember. Miss
You know what?
Miss
And that's
Polera,
sad. That is
Miss
not-
Polera, is this the person you remember?
You know, Your Honor, I do have to say, I don't know what time that Paula came around to me. Probably the second or third. She did really well.
Thank you, Mr.
She did get her act together per se and was compliant with me on a later case than that. And she did do probation. She checked in with me. She was in school then and she was doing really well when she ended there. I do have to say that.
See?
So everybody gonna stick up.
Oh, no.
It's about something.
You know what? You just
like
do
that.
not
It's
believe.
like a Paula festival.
You know, you're so wrong today.
What?
What did I do, T? What did I do? I've been doing really well here.
I would tell
Come
you,
on.
Judge, I would tell you if she was not doing what she was supposed to do, but she did. She did really well towards.
And you know she'd tell. She would tell you. Yes, she would.
Oh, I know she would.
There you go, see?
Because we had a lot of conversations like that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. On many occasions.
But
It's the
came around,
truth.
she came around.
I don't have no qualms with it. You know, you're wrong. You have to own up to it. So that way you can move forward, correct? At least that's the way I see it.
You got all A's and B's?
I've got a C. I ain't gonna lie to you, okay? I'm working on
What
it.
do you have a C in?
What do I have a C in? I have a C in, what is it? Right now, all I have is, I have, my math class. It's been a while, so I'm working my way back up to the B, but it's different, I haven't had math in a long time, so. I'm just saying, I'm working on it though. I don't have a defeatist attitude. I am going to get my degree this time. Bam, bar none.
This person that I see now, I have no doubt in my mind that you will.
Yes, sir. I guarantee you. Lord willing, I'll come back and show it to you. I'm looking forward to that one.
I think none of that I have to hold on to. She already made a mistake. When is she gonna pay me my money?
You still,
It's been nice chatting with you, but
I just don't have it. I'm honest with you. I don't.
so he's still here with you?
Yeah, I actually
In fact, they're
married
being
him.
quiet this time.
Yeah, I married him.
was jumping up and down last
maybe
time I
that's
threw
what
it
got
in.
him quiet, huh?
Huh?
I married him, so maybe that's what got him quiet.
Oh, y'all got married?
Yes, we did. What you look like that for?
I just,
You didn't think?
I thought he was gonna run it. Well,
Now, that's bad.
I'm just saying.
Bad.
I'm just saying. One day,
Oh, you
sitting
didn't
here,
think I was gonna
he
run.
was
You
looking
thought
like
he was gonna run.
looking, winking at me like, take her so I can run. That's what I was getting from him. I'm just saying.
See, that's not the memo I got.
Well,
See,
I'm just saying.
I get it. I understand.
He and I were communicating.
And yeah.
So that's how I saw it.
I
I guess I was wrong.
I can see that.
All right.
That's a guy thing. It's okay.
It is a pleasure seeing you. It is
Always
a
a pleasure
pleasure
seeing
to
you,
see that you are actually doing well and
Thank
doing the right thing.
Yes, sir. I'm doing my best.
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Yes, sir.
You already have paid the state fees, so I'm just gonna waive the entire balance.
Oh, God
I'm
bless
gonna
you. Thank
just
you.
get rid of everything. I'm doing that mainly because of, if you have a daughter that will come up and say those great things about you, then I have to, and I believe what your daughter's saying.
Oh,
And
she's
so,
not gonna lie, trust me.
well, but that, in a
It's
lot of
like
ways,
she'll say good, she'll say bad. That's what
it's a lot of ways, that's what life's about. You raise kids, and when they can say good things about you,
Yes,
you've done your job.
it is. Thank
So
you.
here's what I'm gonna do, on your promise, because
Yes, sir.
I would,
Oh, you ain't got to worry.
so I'm
Trust.
gonna waive that entire balance
Okay.
on your promise that when you have that degree, you come back here and you show me that
You
degree,
think I'm not when I am? Oh, my God. I can't.
right? If you don't,
Okay.
Alan,
okay, I
if
tell
you
you
don't
what.
come back and show me the degree and I find out that you got the degree, Alan and I are getting in the truck, we're gonna find you,
Oh, my God.
okay?
Not you and Alan.
Yeah, both of us,
Oh,
both of us.
okay.
All right, fair enough?
Well, Alan for sure.
I don't know what that's
Okay.
about. All right,
Okay.
you take care of yourself.
God bless you. Thank you so
Welcome.
much, Justin.
Fella, you take care of yourself.
It's good to see you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, guys.
We'll see you.
All right. Take care of yourself.
No sovereign citizens, right, Judge?
Yeah, it is. Yes, sir. Court calls the case, People versus Aaron Piccini.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Mr. Piccini. Piccini is an inpatient, is he here? Oh,
He's here.
He's an inpatient at Dawn Farm.
Right.
He said he was gonna attempt to pay it. Did you make payment? Okay, go ahead.
I'm not an inpatient.
Oh, okay.
I was an inpatient for 3 months, which is why my payment stopped. I talked to Alexis yesterday. He sent me the paperwork and said after I had court today to send it back to her and I can start back on my payment plan. So.
All right.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Pacini.
All right.
Thank
great.
you.
So so I don't need another date. I'll just send this over to collections. All right, so I'll just refer this over to collections. I'm not gonna give you another date. You get
Okay,
back on
thank
your
you.
payment plan and stay
Yep.
sober, huh?
All right. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.
All right, you too.
All right.
Court calls case People versus Shakira Pillar.
For Ms. Fuller, who may be present via Zoom.
Pillar? They're both on. No.
Your Honor, I was unsuccessful in reaching Ms. Pillar. I do understand that he still does have a balance. For the record, I would request an adjournment of the show cause.
Going to have to balance it then.
The show, just over 17.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear upon 15,000. I'll give a 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately. Today's People versus Dexter Pillar.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate on behalf of Mr. Pillar, who should be on Zoom, but he may have dialed in, Your Honor. I believe he is currently at a doctor's appointment.
Pillar. It's the number you have 81 and then 817.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's him. Yeah, he's unmuted, but. Mr. Pillar? You said he's at.
Can you hear me?
doctor's
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you now. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
It's okay. All right. He's got a warrant 1482 that he needs to take care of.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will follow up with him and discuss getting that warrant resolved with him out of court.
All right.
As for the balance, my understanding had a $785 balance. We're asking for an adjournment of the show cause at this time. I was only able to talk to Mr. Pillar very briefly. He states to me he was in a bad accident somewhere recently, which is one of the reasons that a doctor today, he has to get treatment and shots. So I would ask for an adjournment of the show cause so I can have a longer discussion with him about getting on track with this.
July 9th, 2025, 9 a.m.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pillar. Okay, court does call the case People versus Michael Brooks.
Public Defender Natalie Pate on behalf of Brooks, who should be present via Zoom. Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
State your name and turn on camera if you have it.
Okay, I'm on camera. I can see you, but I can't see me, but I'm on camera. My name is Mr. Michael Brooks. Middle initial is B for Bernard.
Okay.
In your honor, that is Mr. Brooks.
All right.
Voice.
Very good. I'll proceed.
Teresa Player on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Brooks was scheduled before the court today for a review hearing. Mr. Brooks was on bench warrant status for a long time. Actually, the bench warrant was issued in this case back in 2015. He did submit a bench warrant recall request in April, and the court did set this case for a review. Mr. Brooks has failed to complete payments in this case. All other terms were completed. He owes a balance of $1,722. No payments have been made. There are new pending cases which are scheduled before this court on May 15th. 2 pending felonies.
So they're set for tomorrow.
Felony, Your Honor. The other case, he does have a bench, it's on bench warrant status on his circuit court case, a probation case. I'm sorry, that one is also pending. So both of those cases are those happened while he was on probation. Mr. Brooks also failed to report to probation during that time frame. Given all of the circumstances in this case, probation is asking that the court discharge him from this case without improvement, that the court set a payment plan as to the balance, and was setting a review hearing to verify his compliance with that payment plan.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to have a discussion with Mr. Brooks regarding where he's at with this case and all the allegations in the new case, as well as the recommendation. Ultimately, he is asking that the court adopt probation's recommendation.
All right, how much can he pay? How's he gonna get this balance paid up?
He is asking that the court, he doesn't have a lot of money to pay each month. I believe he was asking for $50 to $100 a month if the court would allow.
All right. I'm going to discharge the defendant from probation without improvement. He's to pay the 1,722 balance at a rate of $100 per month. I will begin that June 1st. June 2nd, actually. $2025. I'll set a review hearing to review the payment plan for August 13th, 2025 at 9 a.m. to verify his compliance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Court does call the case of the people versus Jack Lyons.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Jack Lyons, who is approaching the podium. State your name, sir.
Jack Lyons.
Thank you.
Teresa Claire on behalf of probation. Your Honor, Mr. Lyons is before the court for a final review hearing on a prosecutor deferred sentence. Mr. Lyons has completed all terms except he does owe a balance of $270. Mr. Lyons was in contact with me yesterday to advise me that he's unable to make that payment until Friday.
This Friday.
This Friday. Probation's asking, and I, since it's in the same month as the end, probation's asking to just adjourn this to the next docket on the 28th, to verify that he follows through with that.
Okay.
And we would have no objection to that, Your Honor. Mr. Lyons does state he can make that payment on Friday.
Good enough. All right. So I'll adjourn the matter to May 28th, 2025, 12 noon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you, Your Honor. Court calls the case people versus Anthony King.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. King, who should be present via Zoom.
Mr. King, need you to unmute, turn on your camera. Mr. King?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. We hear you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do understand there is still a balance owing. Mr. King did make a payment early this month and then another smaller payment at the end of April. I do believe he missed making a payment in March. He's ultimately asking the court if he can continue his $50 monthly per payment plan. Since he was last in court, he completed, transitional housing, and he now actually works as a recovery coach at Home of New Vision. So he does have an employment. He's asking the court to allow that payment plan to continue.
I will allow the defendant to continue making his $50 a month payment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Just keep it up. I'm not going to set a review date. Well, I was, if he was going to do that, I'll consider the reduction regarding his sobriety. So I will set a review date for August 13th, 2025, 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Court Court calls the case, People versus Douglas Robinson.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Robinson, who appears via Zoom. Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
Douglas Robinson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was unable to have a discussion with Mr. Robinson prior to today. I would ask that he could update the court possibly on his financial status. I believe the balance is $849.
Yes. How's he gonna get this paid?
I just started working. I'm in construction, so it's the busy season. It's just now starting. So if you could give me 30 days to I can start making payments, $100 payments a month. I was homeless up until last month. Been homeless, so I just now got a stable place to live in a vehicle, and I'm just now getting back on my feet. And also it's my busy season, so I will be able to start making payments if you can just give me 30 days to start.
Okay, you need to start making payments. What I'll do is I'll just adjourn the show cause out to July 9th,
Your Honor.
2025.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Court calls the
Have a
case,
good day.
People versus Nathan. You too. Nathan Ryans.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate on behalf of Mr. Ryans, who should be present via Zoom. Sir, can you unmute and state your name for the
I
court?
don't have a Nathan Ryans, but he might be the iPhone. Nathan Ryans. The individual that's, oh, maybe I do. Oh. Nathan Ryans. I don't have him.
Your Honor, our office did have contact with him, and I did check. He had stated that he was going to be making a $100 payment prior to today. As of during the docket, I don't think he had done that yet.
I had adjourned this to today's date. He was supposed to appear in person. So he's not here. My file reflects he was to appear in person.
Oh, sorry, Your Honor. I did not have that information, and I submitted a Zoom request that was granted. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I did not have that.
Well, he's not here either, so. Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. How much? Bond will be set in the amount of $3,500. So give a 10% privilege. That warrant is issue immediately. Court calls the case, People versus Henry Smith.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Smith, who appears via Zoom. Sir, can you please unmute and state your name for the court?
Yes, Henry Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding that Mr. Smith has a balance of $305. I was not able to have a phone conversation prior to today, just via email. I would ask him to give the court an explanation as to when he could possibly get that balance paid.
You're supposed to have the balance paid by, well, this was way back in 2021. We don't have the balance paid.
Mr. Smith, when can you get the $305 paid on this case?
The entire balance on the 2nd of June.
All right. I want the balance paid. I'll adjourn this to June 11th, 2025, 9 a.m. If it's paid, I don't need to see you, but if it's not paid, I need to see you in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
Court calls the case, People versus Daniel St. Clair.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Mr. St. Clair. Mr. St. Clair paid the remaining balance.
It's all paid.
He did inform me of that, and I did confirm the
So I'm just going to indicate balance paid, cancel show cause. Court does call the case, People versus Joseph Swope. There's an individual that's logged on to Zoom, iPhone 1. Can you unmute and state your name?
Simone Green.
Hello.
She was a non-public. What do we do?
Your Honor, sorry, it was adjourned to June 11th.
All right.
Probation did not have an
All right. Ma'am, your case has been adjourned to June 11th, okay?
Okay, alrighty, thank you.
Contact the public defender's office prior to that date, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Court does call the case, case of the people versus Jason Stevens.
First Assistant Public Defender Clinton Anderson, with and on behalf of Mr. Stevens, Your Honor, submitted a form he's requesting to have the Public Defender's Office appointed.
Okay, your name, sir?
Jason Stevens.
All right, and is that correct, sir? You're wishing?
Yes.
All right. All right, this is a public defender case. I have, yes, Ms. Valerico.
Your Honor, I was just going to state for the record that Mr. Stevens is before the court today for a violation of probation hearing. There is an alleged violation of the contact order dated April 25th, 2025. Probation did provide the court with this report for that incident.
I think we can approach before we begin.
Yes. All right. And
Your Honor, the victim, Kashmir Morley, is present, should the court.
yes, well, I have the report. And I guess, Ms. Morley, if you could come forward to the podium, please. Can you state your name, please?
Kashmir Morley.
All right. Can I have her sworn, please?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name.
Kashmir Morley.
All right, Ms. Morley, the report that I have in front of me indicates that Mr. Stevens appeared at your place of work and waited in line to speak with you.
Those are two separate events, but that's correct.
What do you mean they're two separate events?
There was a workplace event where he showed up at my place of work, and then when he was waiting in line to come to me, it was to a networking event that I was putting together, that I was hosting.
Okay. So, well, now, I mean, I'm looking here and it just says Stevens appeared at Morley's place of work, waited in line to speak with you. When you refused to have contact with him, he waited around the venue for 10 more minutes before leaving. So now you're telling me, that sounds to me like what they're describing to me is one event, but you're saying there are two. When was, okay, which one occurred first?
The workplace event. That was in March.
And where do you, the workplace event, where he came to your place of work?
Where do I work?
Well, in March, you're saying he came to your place of work. Where do you work?
I put some hours in at the Ann Arbor Art Center.
Pardon?
The Ann Arbor Art Center.
Okay. So, and that was on March.
Probably would have been mid-March sometime.
And that's kind of where you would work every day?
Not every day, but I'm part-time there, so I'm there frequently.
Okay. In your mind, did he have a purpose for coming there? If he was there?
It was my understanding that there was, excuse me, I have allergies going on today. There was an exhibition, I think, that he was supposed to help out with. That's as far as I know. But the times that he showed up, there was nothing work pertaining going on, according to the people that I spoke with.
So where you, he shows up there and then what does he do vis-a-vis you?
One of the people that I work with said that they saw him just wandering around the building, not really with a purpose, and nobody knew who he was or why he was there.
Okay, did he see you?
No,
Well,
I didn't see him. And I don't think he
did
saw
not
me.
see him.
Mm-mm. But I knew he was in the building because of email correspondences that were going on
What email correspondence?
in the workplace. I'm on like an all staff email chain. And so I was told that he was going to come into the building for an exhibition.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you're told via this email that he's coming into the building. And at least according to that work email, he was entering that place for some legitimate purpose.
The email said that he had showed up. Nobody knew who he was, but apparently he was putting on an exhibition. So they were talking about him coming randomly out of nowhere and saying that he was there for an exhibition. So they were discussing that. And then the email said that there was an exhibition to take place in March that apparently he was supposed to be a part of, but nobody knew who he was or why he was there. That was the email.
Okay. I guess if nobody knew who he was, did they know his name?
Well, I'm sure he's probably told them his name because they said his name in the email, but in the correspondence, they said they didn't know who he was at the time that he appeared.
Do you have copies of those emails?
Not with me, no.
Do you have access to copies of them?
I could probably get some, yeah.
And then the other event took place, what was that, May 5th?
That was April 25th.
April 25th was the second thing?
Mhm.
Okay, and where did that allegedly happen?
I was hosting a networking event at Venue by 4M in Ann Arbor. And he appeared and he stood in line and I was checking people in and he stood in line so that I could check him into an event that I was hosting and stood longer in line than he did at the actual event.
So you're hosting an event?
Mhm. Me and a crew of other people, but I was on the hosting committee.
So he comes there, or do you?
Mhm.
Would he, in going to the event, would there have been another way, assuming he's there, that he would have been able to access the event without checking in with you?
That was the only way, was to go through me. And I was an organizer on the event. So if you were paying attention to the event at all, my name was all over that. There was no way you couldn't have known that I was part of it.
Okay, but I could know that you're part of an event, can go to an event, avoid you, but prior to coming to the event, would he have known that you were at the desk or wherever it needed to be checked in?
I don't know if he knows that or not, but he had at least 10 minutes waiting in line to get to me to turn around and leave the event. And he chose to come and approach me instead.
Okay, so when he approached you, what did he say?
He said good morning and tried to have me check him in. We have a no contact order, so I didn't speak to him. And the person next to me who was helping check people in then took over because she didn't know the situation and checked him into the event. And he stayed less than 10 minutes and left at a networking event.
Okay, so he comes to the event. So it's not a circumstance where you're the only one checking people in. Correct. There's somebody else there.
Sitting right next to me. Yep.
Okay, so he comes up, he says, good morning. Is that the only thing he said to you?
He tried to have conversation at the desk and I didn't have anything.
Have conversation?
he checked himself in and then started talking about a hat that he was wearing and started trying to have conversation with me. And then when I didn't say anything, the woman next to me ushered him into the event, and he wasn't signed up for this event either.
Well, did you have to be?
You were supposed to be, yes.
Okay, but did you have to be?
We were letting people in anyway, but that was not the intent. As it was the first event that we were throwing.
So those are the two events.
Mhm.
So are you claiming that there are any other events that took place?
I'm here because of the April 25th event.
Okay. Are you claiming that there are any other events of contact? Okay. So in mid-March, after, let me, just so that I'm correct, mid-March, he never comes in eye shot of you, right?
That's correct.
All right, and so you don't see him.
Mhm.
The April event, it's basically a public event,
Mhm.
right? He's entering, and you're saying he said good morning. You didn't check him in. And then you're saying he tried to engage you in conversation, but that didn't happen.
No, with me, I mean, he spoke, but I didn't speak. And then the person next to me who was helping me check people in took him into the event.
Okay, after that event, or right at that point, did you contact the police at that point?
No, because I was there checking people in, and it was also our first event, and I didn't really feel comfortable having the police come to this event right when we were starting to host things, so I didn't know what to do.
Okay, so when did you contact the police about this?
I believe it was the following week. It might have been the week after. I can't remember the exact date. But I was speaking to the probation officer and she told me to file a police report, which is what I did.
Okay, but here's what I'm indicating or trying to figure out. This occurs April 25th, which would have been a Friday, right? Approximately what time?
The event ran from 8:30 to 9:45. So I think probably around 8:45, 9 o'clock is when he showed up.
All right. And so, and the event ran how long that day?
Until 9:30.
Till 9:30 PM?
AM.
AM. So from 8:30 to 9:30 was the event. It's basically an hour.
Mhm.
Okay.
There might have been 9:45, 9:30, 9:45-ish is when it.
Okay, that's fine. So it didn't go all day.
Correct.
And then so when did you then contact the police about this?
It was either the following week or the week after. I can't remember the exact date.
Would May 7th?
I'm not sure of the exact date, sir.
Have you read the police report on this?
No, I have not.
Jordan, would you like me to give her my copy?
Yeah, if you could, I'd just like her to read the victim statement.
Okay.
Is that statement correct?
No, this is not correct. This is jumbling the events together, and it's also not what happened.
I'm just talking about the victim's statement.
Mhm.
How is it jumbling the events together?
It says that this is the second time that he tried to speak to me. He just tried to speak to me when he came into the event. There wasn't like a time he came back to talk to me. And also placing a hat on so that no one would recognize him. That's not how that occurred.
Okay, so how big was this event?
There was probably 100 people there.
Okay, so he went into the event, he didn't stay long and then left.
He waited longer in line to check in than he did at the event. Than he was at the event.
Okay, it's the second time you said that. So what am I supposed to take from that?
That he waited in line longer to get to me than he actually stayed at the event. If he was there for work, for networking, I don't know why you would say
So-
there to network.
How many of these events have you done, say, this year?
This is the first one we had this past April.
Okay. How often are you at your part-time job?
20 hours a week.
Okay. So other than this March date, I'm just talking this year at this point.
Mhm.
Has he come into your work?
Not that I know of. I have not seen him.
Okay. And then after July of 2024, were you also participating in events?
I was not hosting them, but I was going to networking events. Yes.
So you did, so this is the first event you hosted.
Correct.
Only encounter between you and him on April 25th is crazy. How long was that encounter?
Him speaking to me.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Probably like 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, anything else you want to tell me?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, and I guess not that I've made a finding, what do you want the court to do?
Something so this doesn't keep happening. I'm sick of being contacted by him.
Okay, so, ma'am, you've only told me of one incident.
This is at least the third time I've called the Ann Arbor precinct about no contact violations.
But
Your Honor, I believe that she's referencing the two others that was well on that.
that were from, that I've already addressed because these were sentenced after.
Correct. That's what I believe, and I'm, okay.
You're correct.
Is that, it was a December 8th and January 5th.
All throughout the time.
December 8th of 2023. And a January 5th of 2024.
The time period between December and then July, there were emails, there were letter he left in my mailbox. There was dozen times.
Right, I recall all that, ma'am, but the reason I'm using the July date is because that's when he was sentenced, right? And you're saying that so between July and this July of 2024 and the April date, has he been in contact with you?
He drives by my house all the time and says he's going to his
No,
rental
okay.
unit.
One thing I remember about this case is I think he has a rental property in the same neighborhood that you're in.
I
We had
would like to know
deal
the
with
address of that, but yes,
What?
I'd like to know the address to it, but yes, that's what he's claimed.
Well, I don't think that was ever disputed at the time of sentencing, that he has a rental property up that way. And that he would go to we had a whole discussion about it.
Does he need to park in front of my house to get to his rental unit?
It's like right there. I mean,
If it's on the same street, it doesn't mean he needs to park in front of my house to get there.
So how many times are you saying that happened?
Countless times.
When that happens, does he engage you in any way? Does he heads off someplace else?
No, he sits in his car. He doesn't head anywhere else.
So when that happens, did you call the police?
Yes.
When?
I called the police as early as this week when that happened. Like Monday.
Hold on.
And they told me there's nothing that they could do about it because it's a public street.
So what day did you call the police about this?
About the April event?
No, about April event, you didn't contact him till May 5th. But about him being out in front of your house.
Monday.
This past Monday? And what did they do? They did nothing?
He told me there's nothing that he could do because he had left by the time that they got there. And then he said it was a public street. So even though I had photos, it didn't matter. That's what he told me.
Did you show the officer the photos?
No, he didn't want to see them. He said it didn't matter.
What time did you call there on Monday?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.? So other than that, when you call the police, have you contacted, you're saying, you're using phraseology like all the time and those kinds of things. And I'm trying to figure out where you're saying he's in front of your house. Other than this past Monday, right? Have you called the police about him being there?
Yes.
On how many occasions?
Probably between 5 and 10 at this point. I don't know how many like actual case numbers I have or whatever that's called,
Do you have
but
the case numbers?
not on me, no.
Do you have the request for service numbers?
Not on me, no. But I have the card from Monday, not with me, but I do have that number.
You have a rental property in the neighborhood, right? Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay, and it's, as I'm recalling, it's adjacent in a sense to where she resides. It's like right in that same area.
You like me to answer?
Yeah.
Yes, from the end of the driveway, her apartment would be visible. When she says
I recall that. I was trying to make sure I was recalling that part of it correctly. All right. Okay, and so ma'am, I was at the point, what do you want me to do?
Something. I'm tired of him contacting me. He could have gone to any other networking event. He didn't have to go to one that I was putting on. And if he was actually there for work, then he should have been networking instead of just leaving 5 minutes after checking in. but he stood in line to see me and contact me, and there's a witness to that.
Why he stood in line, do you?
Why did he leave 5 minutes after then, if he was there for work? And I have a witness to the whole thing.
Pardon?
I have a witness to the whole thing.
Who's your witness?
The person that was sitting next to me.
And who is that?
What's her name?
Yes.
Her name is Aylin Walters.
She available?
Not today,
How do you know?
because I asked her.
When would she be available?
I don't know.
Do you have contact information for this Miss Walters that you could share with Miss Polera?
I do.
All right. Okay, anything else you want to tell me? All right, thank you. All right, sir. And I know you're represented by, no, you're okay, come on.
You need your glasses.
I think I know what's on, yeah.
Let's have him sworn.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name.
Jason Stevens.
Stevens. And if at any point you're uncomfortable answering any of the questions the court has, then you've got counsel here. Do you recall being in the, I guess, Ann Arbor Art Center in March?
Yes.
Why? Why were you there?
I have with me the contract signed for my company to install an exhibition there in March.
Can I see that? Wait.
It also includes a timeline on the front page and correspondence with Ms. Morley's employer about the exhibition.
Hold on. So you were supposed to be there regarding an event. There's a contract regarding the event.
That is correct.
That's why you were there in March.
Yes.
All right. And then, well, let me ask you in March, did you see her at all?
I was not aware she worked there until her employer called and told me.
When did that happen?
The week before installation was supposed to happen.
She said she worked there. You were told that she worked there.
Yes.
Were you told? Well, how'd that conversation go? Why? Well, let me ask you this. Why did their employer then tell you that?
Apparently, Ms. Morley told her employer, the director of the Ann Arbor Art Center, that she had a restraining order against me and that I wasn't allowed into her place of work. Her employer, knowing that I was there to install an exhibition, called me in a bit of a panic, and we talked about it on the Friday before installation.
Okay, and what between the employer and yourself, what, when you say you talked about it, what was worked out regarding that?
The fact that, well, the employer asked that I not come into the building.
Okay.
Of course, that created a difficult situation because I had a responsibility in the building and an exhibition that was opening a week later. So we had to work out how that work would actually get done without me being able to be in the building. My coworkers did not want to go after they learned about this, so we had to find a surrogate to do that work. We ended up working through other people. I worked remotely. I did not go into the building, despite this being a physical job, but it all came off okay, so.
Well, hold on a second. Were you in the building in March then?
Before that phone call, I was going in and meeting with people to talk about the logistics.
That's what I'm trying to clear out.
Yeah.
The mid-March point, you heard the testimony was Morley. Had you been told at that point that she worked there?
No.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure. I wanted to make sure I had my timing right. So then you're told that, well, her employee or the director of the building calls you, tells you that. And even though you had contracted to do this installation, right? Did you enter the building after that?
Nope. Have not been back since.
Got it. Okay. And then what happened? Do you recall April 25th event?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. What do you want to tell me about that? Did you go, I think it was on South Industrial or something?
Place called Venue.
Yeah.
Used to be a grocery store, I think. I was on a podcast with a fellow. I met the fellow and learned that he was speaking at this event, a new professional networking event that was being hosted at Venue. I decided I would go check it out. Saw another colleague earlier in the week. She said she was going. I said, cool, I'll meet you there. Went to that event at 8:30. I was actually there right at 8:30. When I walked in, I saw that Kashmir Morley was checking people in, but she was one of two people. I stepped aside, waited for the other woman's line to empty. I went up to her, I checked in. She complimented my hat.
Who did?
The woman that I checked in with. Apparently her name is Lynn Walters.
Okay.
She complimented my hat. I said, thank you, I made it myself. And then I went into another room where the actual event was taking place, grabbed a glass of water, went into that room, saw the friend that I had agreed to meet there, saw another couple of people. And I did leave before the event started, before Hein actually began talking. I left through a side door because I didn't want to be in the same room as Ms. Morley. And that was it.
So you didn't, I guess it would have been the front is where you came in.
Yeah, right by the front.
You didn't leave out the front.
Nope.
So what you're telling me is the reason you left is because she was there and that at some point, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, at some point, given that she was part of that event, she was going to be in that same room as you. And you were trying to avoid that.
Yes, I would say generally her presence was making me uncomfortable.
Okay.
I should add, I don't see her name on anything related to the event. She said she was hosting it, but that's not clear.
Do you have that with you?
So that I can explain. I added a page that's the podcast we were on. The next page is the LinkedIn post where I learned about the event. Her name is nowhere in that post. There's another internet article about the event. Her name is nowhere in that article. So.
But the reality is you're not learning about this event from the internet or anything like that. You learn about it from somebody that you did a podcast with.
Yeah. Yeah. He was
basically verbally learn about it.
Yeah. And then I saw it on LinkedIn.
Got it. Okay. And when you saw it on LinkedIn, her name is not here. Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct.
So prior to your arrival, you didn't know she would be there.
No idea.
Anything else you want to tell me about this?
Not really.
Whatever.
On this one. Thank you.
anything else. I have no other violations or anything.
Your Honor, Ms. Morley indicates that the LinkedIn posts indicate her name on the notice.
Yeah, and on the events page, my name is listed as an organizer.
Okay, I got a question. Why do you think he was trying to get to you?
Because he's been trying to do this the whole time he's been doing this. That was why he left a letter. That's why he emailed me. He's trying to contact me. That's why it shows he.
Ma'am, hold on. I just asked you. What other contact has occurred with the Trinity here between June or July? Just make sure I get my notes right. Between July 8th of 2024 to present, any direct contact that he's had?
I don't understand how many times I have to be contacted in order for it to matter.
You need to answer get up to the podium. You need to answer my question. You keep saying it keeps happening. You keep using these large phrases, but never giving me any specifics. So what I'm trying to figure out is how many other times from the time that he was sentenced, that's the date I'm using, up to say March or even April, how many times has he contacted you?
This has been the first direct time he's contacted me since July.
Okay, so then my question is, from that date you didn't see him, but heard about him in the building at work in March, did he appear in the building after that at your work?
After what date?
You said it was sometime in mid-March that you heard he was in the building. Did that occur again?
I don't know, not that I saw.
So I'm to understand that between the time I sentenced him and this date, or the April 25th date, there's been no contact.
Okay. Yes.
And on that date, at least as I see it, we can at least agree that he entered. You're saying it was because of your actions. He's saying it's because of his actions. But regardless of that, you were not the person that checked him in. Somebody else, as Miss Walters, checked him in.
He tried to get me to check him in, and when I did
How did you
contact him,
know?
because he walked up to me and said good morning to me and looked at me and said good morning and tried to have me check him into an event that I was hosting. That's how I know. He didn't look at Miss Walters, he looked at me.
And the other thing that we can, well, you're not agreeing to that, but the other thing that we can agree, he did go off and the event was taking place in another room. And then, at least as I listened to both of you, he left shortly thereafter.
That's correct.
He didn't, would you agree, didn't come back out the front where you were? He somehow or another left the event.
Yes.
And your thought is, well, what is your thought about why he left the event?
I don't know why he left if he was there for work. There to not work. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, so your belief is that he came to the event to see you,
Yes.
saw you, went into the event that, by your understanding of this, he really had no intention really to be at, because his sole intention was to see you.
I think his intention was to show up and show me that he can be around me no matter what, because nothing is getting done about this. That's what I think his intention was.
Where do you get that from?
the fact that he stood in line longer to see me, to get me to check him in than he was at the event. That's what makes me feel that way.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, anything you want to say on behalf of your client at this point?
Your Honor, I haven't heard anything that gives rise to any direct or indirect contact. She's referenced the events, two separate events, the March 2025 event. Doesn't appear that she even knew that he was in the building. I don't see anything that gives rise to any contact. She didn't see him, he didn't speak directly with him, and my client has presented information that he was there for work purposes. Once he found out that she was there, he found ways to work remotely, which would indicate to me at least, that he was trying to comply with the court's orders with regards to that. The April event, again, he's there for networking. I mean, it's almost in that situation a lose-lose for Mr. Stevens. She's complaining that he stayed only 10 minutes, and if he had stayed the full event, that also would have been a problem. Your Honor, I don't see anything that gives rise to any violation of probation, and I would ask the court to dismiss this.
I'm gonna step out for a moment. Miss Valera, can you call AAPD and ask them
Yes, I will.
about requests for service from Monday and those before?
Yes.
And what, yeah, can you? If they can get us a list and guys give me about 15 minutes and let her do that. And you got the contact information from Mr. Walters? Ms. Valera?
I will get it for her.
Okay, and can you see if you can reach out to her too? I know I'm giving you a lot.
That's okay.
All right, and then we'll reconvene. I'll come back on short. Thank you. Court's in standing recess.
All rise.
Nobody else is. No, you're okay. You're, don't worry. We're back on the record in the case of the People versus Jason Stevens. He's present with counsel, and so is Morley present. The court took a brief recess, and I asked for Ms. Valera to check a couple things for me, Ms.
Yeah, sure, and I do have that information for the court. As far as reaching the witness, Ms. Walters, I did leave a message, there was no answer, so I wasn't able to get through with her. As for the calls for service to Ann Arbor PD, they had 3 that they were able to provide. One was on May 5th, which is the probation violation report from today's hearing. There was one from May 12th, this past Monday. They indicated there was no report, just notes for that call of service. There was notes say, saw the defendant drive by one time, no violation because he owns property down the street. They had nothing other than that since July of 2024 with a call for service, no report, notes were possible harassment, no action taken. Probation also wants
just, and so we can clarify, the July date would have been right around when he was sentenced.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And probation also wants to make the court aware, Mr. Stevens did report to probation the incident that happened in early March, where he was in the building doing work. He reported that to my office, indicating the same that he testified today, just so the court is aware.
That he was in the building, then informed later that she worked there.
Correct. And so he wanted that known and reported. So Mr. Stevens did report that to my office.
Okay. Court's ready to rule. And I'm just gonna maybe be painfully blunt regarding this. I, because of my docket, have numerous people reporting incidents of contact, incidents of harassment, incidents of those kinds of things, and have to try to deal with them and sort them out. Sometimes it turns on the little things as to what transpired because I'm not there. But other times it's real clear that somebody has had contact. Other times, it also is clear in the opposite direction that there was no intended contact. Some contact may have been incidental or very short-lived. As I listen to the parties in this case, I'll just say this. Ma'am, I don't know why you have this belief that Mr. Stevens is spending his life trying to be near you. I don't think that's the case at all. Certainly not by any of what I've been shown today. And quite frankly, you've lied to this court. Yes, ma'am, you have. I don't want you shaking your head because you're playing with the wrong judge. You are playing with the wrong judge. I am dealing with people's liberty, with their freedom. And it is with sometimes a heavy heart that I have to restrict people's freedom, or I have to take somebody's freedom and their liberty. And I don't want to do it where I don't have to. I particularly don't want to do it where somebody comes before the court complaining of something that is just so unbelievable and at times twisted as to what's going on. Mr. Stevens, quite frankly, if he were not one to want to tell me the truth about what happened, the very fact, and I'll just deal with the March date, the very fact you never see him, but somebody says he's there, he could have gotten up before me, he could have said, I was never in that building. And just say that. There's not going to be anybody that's going to show that he's in that building necessarily. He'll just say, I wasn't there. He doesn't do that. And in fact, gets before this court, explains the entire circumstance of when he's in the building, then does the right thing once he's informed that you work there. He does two things right. One is he doesn't go back to the building and has to logistically try to figure out a way to fulfill his obligations under his contract. But he does that because of this court's order. He purposely doesn't violate that. He doesn't try to use the contract as some excuse to then go back into the building saying, well, I had to go there and I was just going to work. He doesn't do any of that. He just stays away. That's the first thing that he did that was right. The second thing that he did that was correct in that regard is that when it came time for him to report to probation, understanding he had had no police contact regarding that event, nothing really comes out of it, but he reports it to his probation officer that this transpired and that this is what I had to do. I've read that report that he submitted. It is almost verbatim what he told me today, not knowing that today was going to even manifest itself in this. He already reported that that's what happened and that this is what then actions he took to make sure he wasn't there. So your indication, and it's just misguided that it is that he came there looking for you, is just wrong. It just simply is wrong. He was not looking for you. He was just trying to do his job or do his work, found out he couldn't because you were there, and then stayed away and had to figure out some other way to do it. Then we get to the April 25th date. The April 25th date I guess the only thing I can say regarding Mr. Stevens' behavior is I wish he had done something different. And that is that upon getting to the door, seeing you, I wish he had turned around and walked back out. I don't know, quite frankly, that that would have prevented us from being here, but certainly I would have wished that he did. But I understand what he did do. And what he did, this is again identical to what he indicated to probation, but he also said it to this court today under oath. He goes in, you don't check him in. I believe him when he says, I stepped to the side to wait for the other one, because I think you have some fixation on him or his, or what he's thinking. And you can keep shaking your head all you want, because I can go all day. Because I think there's something wrong in this whole thing. I believe him that he stepped to the side, checked in. You then take some and make some nefarious argument about him coming there to see you. Why? Because he didn't stay for the whole event. Well, he didn't stay for the whole event as he reported to probation. And the other thing is that he went in, gave his greetings and goodbyes basically to the people that he was supposed to meet there, and then left. And then made the conscious decision, because you were there, not to go back out the way I came in. He just left out a side door and said, I'm out. As I said, the only thing I wish he had done, but again, I don't know that that would have prevented us from being here, is to just at the front door have turned around and left. But I get why he didn't, because he had told people that he was going to be there. He was just going to go in, do this, get out. He wasn't going to stay there. Thing. I believe him when he says, I was going to be uncomfortable if she was in that same event. And he got himself out. That is consistent, quite frankly, in a lot of ways, with what he did in March. There's absolutely no, this court sees it, no violation that this court could take any action. But then when I look at it, you kept saying, and I was cautioning you on this one, ma'am, or you were addressing the court, that you keep saying these sort of grand statements about him, that it's always, I want this to stop, I want whatever. And I'm saying, well, what other events have there been? And I specifically recall us dealing with his rental property and the fact of its location vis-a-vis where you live. I remember looking at a map, because somebody telling me where it can be seen and where he goes up. And you knew he had rental property there, and then had the nerve to say to me today, well, I want the address because I'm not. We went through that whole thing in July in excruciating detail. You know he has it there. And how do I also know that you know he has it there? The Monday call to the police, which, by the way, is really suspicious, because I don't have any calls for service except at the time of his sentencing, just this general harassment thing, which they didn't take any action on. And then Monday. Here's the interesting thing about Monday. That call comes into the Ann Arbor Police Department at 6 p.m. on the same date that my staff set this hearing. We set the hearing at approximately a little after 12 that day, but via email to Ms. Blair. By 6 o'clock, I then all of a sudden have some complaint against this gentleman with the Ann Arbor Police, as though you had to sort of bolster some issue against him. Then you exaggerated, if not perjured yourself under oath before this court when I'm asking, how many calls have you made? Well, here's the thing you may not realize. Any police department you call will have detailed notes of what they did in their response to service, which is when you said how many times you had called, I asked Ms. Polaire to check that out. There's only 3. Since the time of sentencing, there's only 2. One being your report of this April 25th date, which didn't happen until the 5th. And then a week later, another call to the Ann Arbor Police Department, frankly, in response to this court setting a hearing and trying to drive and make a case against this gentleman. You lied to me. Just out and out lied. You haven't been calling the police. You haven't been doing any of that. And quite frankly, because there are serious cases of victims that come before this court that are harassed by people, they may not get the facts right. They may not understand certain things, but they will tell the court from their perspective what happened. But one thing I've never found, while I may not quite, they might have the facts a little off, I've never found just a blatant lie like this, ever. Saying that somebody has harassing you to such a point that, yes, I've had to call the police this many times. You haven't called the police. He wasn't there at that April 25th incident to see you. He was there to go to that event. Your weird belief that somehow or another his reason for going there was because he saw your name and decided to just gallivant down there, let me see if she's there. Seriously? I am not finding a violation. And young lady, I'm going to tell you, and I just have to think about it, but I may end up sanctioning you for lying to this court. If you got something real to bring this about somebody, I don't mind you coming here. But we've been sitting here for the last almost an hour and 45 minutes trying to deal with this. All of this being mistruths and just lies about him. So while you may try to turn him into something evil, you may think he's the proverbial devil in terms of who he is. This court does not view him this way. He has been a model probationer. He has done everything. He's gone way beyond what most probationers do in reporting things that weren't crimes, but certainly something that he thought probation should know of. And the great thing about him doing that, certainly it saved him today, just by putting it out there. So the court's going to find no violation. I'm done with this. And if there's something else that comes up, then we'll deal with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.